in about this.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, for the time.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge, and if you would please remain standing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Grijalva, would you please stand?
Our Father in heaven, we thank you for having this meeting this evening, and we thank you for having those who could be in attendance. We pray, Father, that everything done in this meeting is with a good heart. We pray, Father, that we govern the city with good morals. We pray that every decision that we make, that we look to you for guidance, and we also pray, Father, that we also be held accountable for all the decisions we make. We thank you again for all the things you've given us, and we pray, Father, again, that you keep blessing the city so that we may prosper in the future. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Councilmember Grijalva. Mrs. Aguilar, roll call, please.
Mayor Robert Benitez. Mayor Pro Tem Donald Hewitt.
Here.
Councilmember Margaret Morales. Present. Councilmember Mitch Lindemann.
Present.
Councilmember Ray Shelton. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, for the record, Councilmember Shelton is attending telephonically. Councilmember Shelton, what is your password?
You know what?
Let me go ahead and resend it. Just a moment, please.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience.
Here. Have a piece of paper with writing in it. I've got it. I've read it.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, yes. W431319.
Thank you. That is correct. What is your location?
Dearborn, Missouri.
What is your phone number?
520-234-7092.
Are other persons with you?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Councilmember Cesar Soto.
Here.
Councilmember Jose Grijalva.
Present.
Interim City Manager Jerry Watson.
Here.
City Attorney Juan Pablo Flores.
Present.
City Treasurer Luis Pedrosa.
Present.
Thank you, Mrs. Aguilar.
You're welcome.
Just by way of information, Mr. Shelton is traveling, obviously, and Mayor Uribe had a family, somewhat emergency, but nothing horrible, that he's taking care of, and we wish him the best, and along with his dear mother at this time. Next item is item number 5, presentation of award to Cochise County Spelling Bee winner, who's one of our own, Diana Berry. I'd like to embarrass you, Ms. Berry, a little bit first, as you stand up. On Saturday, February 16th, after 32 very difficult rounds, Diana Berry won the Cochise County Spelling Bee. Last year, Diana finished second, which motivated her to return this year with victory in mind. She is an experienced competitor as she won her first grade school spelling bee while enrolled at Omega Alpha Academy Charter School. However, after her first spelling competition, she did not compete again until 6th grade and worked hard to qualify 3 years in a row for county competition. That was my problem when I was I just, after winning the one in first grade, I just gave it up. But no, we're very proud of you. Diana will proudly represent the Douglas Unified School District and the City of Douglas at the 2019 Arizona Spelling Bee, which will be held on Saturday, March 23rd. We are very proud of you and would like to wish you the best of luck and present this little gift to you and certificate. They want your picture and paper, so you don't stand right over here. See you? One more. And we have a a little gift for you to take with you to represent them if you'd like to. And best of luck. We're proud of you. Whatever happens, we're behind you 100%. I would also like to compliment Douglas Unified School District for the fine work that they've done with this young lady, and they also deserve a round of applause for sending a great representative. So. Okay, item number 6, persons wishing to address the council in writing or verbally on any item not on the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
have any?
where do you have
Okay.
a request?
Thank you. Well, those requests are coming, as we normally do before this. The call to the public. Rules of conduct will be followed by all call to the public speakers. Each speaker will be given up to 3 minutes to speak. Mrs. Aguilar, you'll hear her say that there's 30 seconds left to speak. We ask all speakers to observe the rules of decorum and good conduct. We will not allow any personal or slanderous remarks. The audience needs to observe the same rules and allow the person to speak and state their point without interrupting at this time. So we'd like to do that, if we could. Mercy. This is great. Barry McInerney, please.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to be here. What I'm doing is I'm passing out a small brochure that I made to explain what it is I would like to see happen. And I'm an artist and I'm a teacher at Cochise College. The flag pile that's out just beyond the town here, I think would make a great tourist attraction as a sculpture garden park. I interviewed some of the faculty at U of A, and I suggested that if they were interested in it, to let me know. And I got some feedback from them saying that they would love to have their classes come here to install sculpture at that site. Now, does the mind want to get rid of the site pile or not? That's the first question. Second question is the city interested in generating an international tourist attraction? I talked to Jennifer at the pool, and she was telling me that there's a possibility of the National Guard offering some space in their building for extracurricular activities and art and physical exercises and other things that the city would be interested in to perform. The sculpture park could very neatly dovetail into the activity that Jennifer had in mind. And to have schools come to the area to install their sculptures, I think would be a great boost for the economy of the city. What are the expenses to the city? Hopefully not much. And if they get the land, when they get the land, the mining company could write off the expense of the property from their profit, and that would mean zero money coming from the city for the land. The land could then be divided up and rented to the universities or the artists on a long-term, very small money basis. And the improvements that they would need for putting up their
Mr. Mayor,
structures.
remember 30 seconds remaining.
You have 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah?
No, you have 30 seconds.
So they could furnish their own insurance for the site and their own the city will be responsible for the pathways going from site to site. So if you're interested, please let me know. I would like to know, is the mine interested in getting rid of the,
Time, Mr. Mayor Pro Tempore.
am I done? No?
If you have a finishing remark, go ahead.
Okay. I would very much like to see and help the city to have the plateau mark here. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Mr. McInerney, just so you know, we're not allowed to be going back and forth with this, but I'd like to direct you to this young lady right here on the end of this table. That's our interim city manager, and I'm sure that maybe you guys can put your heads together with the other staff members and see what possibilities may be able to become of this. I know in the past they've been hesitant about that property, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, well, if you're not going to do something with it, maybe they would want the money back off the bat.
And we'd also like to thank you for thinking about this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Young Mrs. Celine Luna, please.
Hello all. I'm here today to invite both the public as well as council to the, I believe 6, I might have that wrong, but my bad. The 6th Miss Douglas Days 2019 pageant is going to be happening on April 13th, which is a Saturday. It will be at 7 p.m. and it will be located at the Ray Berrien Middle School Auditorium. The tickets will be sold at the door for $10, and we would really love the support of both the community and the council. So I'm just going to hand you back to it.
Thank you, Ms. Luna, and also thank you for representing Douglas so well this past time. Thank you. Next up is Mr. Jose Duarte. Mr. Duarte, please.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. My name is Jose Duarte. I live at 2001 on 9th Street here in Douglas. During the February 13th Mayor Council meeting here at City Hall, Mayor Uribe read a resolution promoting and reaffirming our commitment to ensure racial equality and justice for a healthy community in the City of Douglas. The Mayor, during his proclamation of this resolution, stated, "I have heard with his own ears Ichi Mayate," and he continued using the word N-word loosely in his tongue about a previous employee here in Douglas. Stated there is no level of bigotry, racism, and it's unacceptable, and that's why he presented that resolution. I want to say something about that resolution to Mayor and Council. Mayor even stated that it was National or Black History Month back in February, and how far we have come. Yet what a hypocrite he has been. Why do I call the mayor that? Because under the Webster's definition, a hypocrite is a person who acts contrary to his beliefs and feelings. Here's why. The NAACP denounced the N-word back in July 9, 2007, more than 11 years ago, stating that thousands of people had gathered in Detroit to bury the N-word. And they put the word nigga, excuse the word, with the A at the end to display in the coffin, putting it away. Didn't matter if it ended with ER or an A. It was not acceptable to the NAACP. Now, City of Douglas members understand that our mayor doesn't represent our community in the right light by calling us racist, and I take offense to that when he put that resolution. Did you know that he himself has used the N-word in his social media accounts? He himself in 2012 used it with his friend David Campos and posted "to my N" with a lot of exclamation points, LOL out there. This comment might not be as bad as people think, because they think, oh, it's a friend, it's a buddy, but he also did it to people who are very professional in the works, to include very famous people such as rapsters and people in the music community. Now, why do I bring this up? Because in my opinion, these are not the words that the majority of the citizens of this great city of Douglas uses compared to places such as back east or other communities. Soon thereafter, I posted this comment on the mayor's page and asked him if he or his buddies had used the N-word before. And what happened? They deleted those comments immediately from their social media accounts. And they are no longer using that N-word in that. It appears quite frequently in his life and depicts it as the citizens of Douglas, and he has shamed all of us by saying that we're a racist.
Mr. Mayor, for 30 seconds remaining.
He wants us to do as I say, not as I do. And I want to say shame on the mayor, because he missed his opportunity in 2007 when it was denounced. And 5 years later, in 2012, he posted it several times on his social media. And if you don't believe me, Mayor and Council, I do have them available from his social media account where he uses the N-word. Douglas is not racist. I find offense to that we are treated as racist. I want to say that resolution, even though it's an affirmative action, should have never happened because we are not racist here in town. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Duarte, for explaining that. Mr. Danny DJ Morales.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, council members, members of the public. Danny DJ Morales, 757 3rd Street, Douglas, Arizona, 85607. Couple preliminaries before I start. I just want to draw your attention to this young lady over here. On her birthday, Miss Sandy Nelson. Happy birthday. Also, my special guest tonight is Lori Kilpatrick, who was a former state senate candidate for LD 14. She's here from Tombstone. So with that, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, it's my honor tonight to come before you and to discuss very shortly, briefly, opportunities to bring economic development to our beautiful community here in Douglas. We stand at a great opportunity to sponsor Entrepreneurial Academy. When I was running for Congress, unsuccessfully, I brought a contracts manager down from Raytheon with extensive experience in contract management, billion-dollar contracts, to basically kickstart an idea here in this area. And Douglas has the opportunity to sponsor such an academy, 128 hours worth, to bring together stakeholders from all over the county, but especially here in Douglas, to write contracts that are potentially hundreds of millions of dollars in worth, providing opportunities for thousands of jobs which are high paying. I have the hard copy here that Mr. Deli provided in May, and I'll turn this over to our interim city manager here. But I would like to invite you to an upcoming meeting where I'll bring Mr. Deli down, and I'll invite several stakeholders, but definitely I will shoot this electronically all to your email accounts, so you have the electronic version of what I'm going to give our interim city manager. So please be looking out for that invitation. It's a great opportunity to bring high-paying jobs, economic development to our area. And I also have some intentions for the flag out there. I know we had a great presentation here tonight, but we can, if Freeport McMoran allows us access to that, and perhaps it's the right people in the room where we can reclaim some of that flag and turn it into rare earth metals and sell it off to agencies like the Department of Defense and such. Again, thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. Ms. Nelson, you don't look a day over 25. So. Ken, is that check good that you gave me?
There's no cash until Friday.
Thank you.
Next Friday.
Mr. Alex Espinosa.
Alex Espinosa, 711 12th Street, Douglas, Arizona. Good evening, Margaret. Mayor Pro Tem. I want to make something clear here. I have nothing to do with the recall. The mayor has posted that I'm spearheading it, that I'm this, and I'm that. He posted some picture that he said I took of him. I did not take those pictures of him. His troll, what else is it called? Instigators, they sent it to me because they know I'm going to come up here and speak because they're afraid of retaliation. This theory that he has that Douglas is a racist town is ridiculous. I have been burying African Americans in here all my career. Since I was 16 years old, I've been burying that black community. They're all friends of mine. For him to say that is a farce and an injustice to my reputation that I have worked for very hard. The blacks in this community, they're all my friends. For him to say that he's on his last leg, I get that. But for him to discredit me like that is wrong. Douglas is not a racist town. I've had my truck burned, tires slashed. This weekend I had my mailbox smashed, and nobody knows who's doing it. You know, nobody knows. But I'm not saying he did it, but it's somebody in his circle. And I'll find out eventually. Another concern is his wife was posting information of the recall that only she could have got through the clerk's office. And that's very concerning, disheartening, and unfair in the recall process. I do not think she has the right to be looking at that documentation, and I'm pretty sure it's not legal. But however she got them, that needs to be addressed. You up here are the only ones that can deal with the mayor. You were elected to represent Douglas, not represent Robert Uribe. I have seen you two running around with him. And I would like to know if your discussions are about basketball only. Because if you guys are discussing public city matters, that's illegal. You guys, Douglas is where you all grew up. Douglas isn't a racist town. And he is causing chaos and division. You guys are the ones that need to make him come clean and answer these questions. I go on Facebook, I get my account hacked, try to hack it, I get blocked, but yet they can attack everybody and nobody does anything. You two on the end are always with him. You guys need to talk to him and tell him to stop this racist thing. It's not a racist town. Again, I am not involved with the recall.
Thank you, Mr. Mrs. Tanya Duarte.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say I don't like facing my back towards people, so I'd rather be over there because this is to the community as well. So this is kind of awkward. I'd like to address the false allegations made by the mayor on social media and in the Mexican media. I find that his high level of falsehood is very unprofessional, immature, and divisive. The mayor should be ashamed to spread such lies. Due to his allegations, myself and my family have received threats and a lot of negativity on social media especially, but also at my work. Although he has been wise enough to not mention any names in his interviews, he's said just enough information that it leads people to believe that it's me doing all these negative things and posting threats, and I have never done any of that. Not once. So even Univision and Telemundo, they both contacted me directly saying, oh, the mayor says you're racist. What's your comment on that? And I have that in writing on their email to me. And my comment to them was, I will not respond to his outrageous false allegations, and I detest and condemn all forms of racism and discrimination. I have nothing else to say to the media regarding his allegations because it's all lies. We expect and demand integrity from our leaders. What he's doing is not acceptable, and it must be stopped. I don't know which one of you are going to stand up to him and say, you do not represent what our city should be representing. You need to tone it down. You know, my recall is only based on his unprofessional action. It is nothing personal at all. And it's certainly not about his race. My entire family is all different races. We have black, we have white, we have Oriental, we have Hispanic, Latino, Central American, African, black. You know, not just brown skin. This is ridiculous that he would make those allegations, and also that you would all allow it during that proclamation, during the last meeting. You all should have stopped him. You should all be ashamed that you did not stop him and say, hey, this is about a proclamation. This is not about calling out people and calling our community racist. You know, that's where you as leaders need to step up. You can't just let him go crazy over everybody. You know, really, as leaders, you all need to step up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that admonition, and I'm curious about the podium also, but I guess we can have that discussion some other time when it's on the agenda. I believe, just want to double check and make sure I didn't miss anybody. A beautiful young lady in the back row. For another item? Okay. Thank you.
Can I submit this one? I'm late.
I'm not sure what the protocol is.
That's right, it's already made at this point.
Okay, I'm sorry very much.
Well, you know, Benny Laporte was late last time and he got to speak, so I thought I probably would be admitted too.
That is a good point. That is a good point. The protocol is that it needs to be in before the meeting.
That is correct.
And I didn't notice that, but you bring up a good point. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
What's good for all is good for all.
Mr. Mayor, you can certainly allow it. If you wish to do so, in the case of Mr. Ben Laporte, he had contacted our office, and Mr. Mayor did authorize the submittal.
Please.
Can I come?
Please.
Sorry. I'm all wired up today.
Uh-oh. Maybe not.
Glad to hear.
Yes.
Closer with that game right there, too.
No, that's the word.
Well, what I can't help but have something to say on this subject that was being spoken about right now.
Mr. Robles, would you please identify yourself as you know?
Yes, oh, sorry. Olga Robles, address 809 8th Street, Douglas, Arizona. And I greet all of you, ladies and gentlemen of the council and mayor. Thank you. I can't help but have to make this comment. I think Mr. Uribe is wrong of doing what he's doing. He would have never gotten elected in the first place if Douglas had been a racist city. I think that cancels anything and everything that he has to submit on the internet. That was my comment. Thank you very much for letting me say it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Aguilar, for pointing it out. Thank you very much. Item number 7, discussion decision on approval of consent agenda items which include expenditures for the month of February 2019 totaling $2,025,025.58. Also the meeting minutes for January 13th, 2019. And a liquor license application, series number 10, beer and wine store, for change of controlling person or persons submitted by Jody Bernovas on behalf of Good to Go, located at 1050 10th Street.
Mr. Mayor, just as a point of order, the minutes are for January 23rd, 2019 instead of 13th.
Thank you. January 23rd, 2019. May I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor, September.
Yes.
I move that mayor and council approve consent agenda items as mentioned.
Second. Second by Councilmember Grijalva. Roll call, please.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 4? Ward 4?
Yes.
Thank you. Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Temper?
Yes. Motion carries. If there's no objection among the council, I'd like to take item number 16, and the reason being is Mr. Councilman Shelton has been kind enough to join us. He has commitments for this evening, and we need to hear his opinion on item number 16. And the reason being is that, we'll explain it right now, but it needs a 6-7 vote to the council, and that's why we want to consider that until before Mr. Shelton has to leave us for the evening. So item number 16, is that okay, everybody? Very good. Is that okay? Okay. Discussion decision on approval of third reading of ordinance number 19-1101, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, partially modifying the structure of the Public Works Department by adding a construction inspector for the Bay Acres Sewer Project at a range 20, establishing severability of components of ordinance, and declaring an emergency. May I have a motion to approve?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Councilmember Lindemann.
I move that the mayor and council approve the third reading of ordinance number 19-1101 by number and title only and declaring an emergency.
Second by Councilmember Morales. Ms. Watson, can you please bring us up to date on why emergency is needed here at the third reading? Or whoever is in charge of this.
Yes, I'll go ahead and defer to Louise. There's a good explanation, but I'll let him talk about the project.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Good evening. As you know, this is the third reading of the creation of a construction inspector position. This is strictly for the Bay Acres sewer project and grant funded by the USDA Rural Development Agency. This position will be funded for 12 months for the grant. And the reason that we are requesting the emergency clause to be enacted, which would make it effective the day of, if it were to be approved, instead of waiting the additional 30-day period. The reason for that is because tonight we're also approving the construction services management agreement, and we're recommending it to issue it to CDM Smith. Once we approve that, CDM Smith can move forward with the bidding process, and USDA has indicated that we cannot make an award on the bid process if we do not have a construction inspector on board and hired. So in order to hurry up the process and not delay, actually not hurry up the process, but not delay the Bay Acres project, we wish to enact this as pre-emergency, get the position advertised, follow all the protocols for advertising the position, which could take up to 45 days to advertise, conduct interviews, conduct background checks, all the different procedures that we need to do to take up to 45 days. Therefore, if we were to add the extra 30 days, that could essentially be 75 days of waiting and the project not moving forward. So those are the reasons why we're requesting that emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. Any questions or comments by council?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
Mr. Pedrosa, if you could reiterate, I think you mentioned in the last meeting, where if this gets approved because it's grant funded, once that grant money it finishes, the position also ceases to exist, right?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Grijalva, the position will be created into our org chart. The funding for that will disappear. It will no longer be funded, and we can come back to Mayor and Council and choose to eliminate it from the org chart at that time. But the funding will not be available.
Okay, so, and we could come into a decision before that, right? Not sort of, oh, we need the money, we have to take it out of the general fund to fund it. We can come back to it at an appropriate time to make that decision instead of getting into a financial mess.
That's correct.
Any other questions or comments? I would also like to reiterate to the public that this is, the reason we're doing all this is to essentially save us in the neighborhood of $130,000, $140,000, somewhere in there. Mr. Pedrosa?
$200,000.
$200,000 savings in order to do this. And so that's the reason behind this. And now we're ready to proceed, but we need somebody on staff, and that's the emergency. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ward 1? Yes. Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes. Motion carries. And if, Mr. Shelton, if you need to leave at any time, please feel free to let us know. And
Okay, I'll let you guys go.
Thank you very much. It's 6:35 p.m.
thank you, Mr. Shelton.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Now that he's not on the phone, he's getting a little old, so that bedtime comes a little bit earlier than my experience.
In order for the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, partially modifying the structure of the Public Works Department by adding a construction inspector for the Bay Acres Sewer Project at the Range 20, establishing severability of components of the ordinance, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mrs. Aguilar. Agenda item number 8, presentation by Aliyah Montoya, Vista member concerning a pilot program of city tours free of charge provided by one of our citizens, Jenny Jordan. Mrs. Montoya, please. If that's okay, Mrs. Watson, do you want her to take the lead?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The agenda item suggests a local resident has generously volunteered her time to offer tours around Douglas. We all know Jenny. Jenny Jordan leads, you may know her as leading Wallace Ace's Veterans Commemoration Project that opened 2 years ago. She's led several important projects around town. Her family is deeply rooted in Douglas, so she knows a lot about the community. Over the past 20 years, she's actually conducted tours on her own as she's volunteered for various organizations. So as I mentioned, these tours are going to be around Douglas, and I'm presenting that idea tonight as a pilot program because the city has never facilitated such a tour that I'm aware of. So Discover Douglas will run twice a month, every second and fourth Saturday, and we'll take the next 6 to 9 months to establish that set schedule. We'll chart the popularity of the program, identify best practice methods, and fees if we find them necessary for whatever reason down the road. At the end of the pilot period, we'll report back to you with those findings and see if we can't formally adopt the tours as part of regular city public services. These are going to be educational and interactive tours that encompass many different sectors of the community. This is an exciting opportunity for tourists, but we also hope that our residents will take advantage of this program too, because I guarantee we all have a lot less to learn about our community. That's basically it. Do you have questions?
Any questions by council?
This is Mayor Pro Tem. If I could just say, I know Jeannie and I've gone to the Wall of Faith, so it's just everybody goes to it. She's very passionate. I think this has been months in the making, right? And we couldn't find ways to do it, but when our community wants to help us free of charge, we should be finding ways to accommodate that, to encourage people, because if we just can't tell them no, we can't do it, or instead of finding a way, then who's going to want to get involved? So I thank Mrs. Jordan for her commitment, for working free of charge, for volunteering, and I suggest that myself and council should be going on those tours to learn more about Douglas, because once we leave and we go to Tucson or we go to Phoenix to talk about Douglas, we should have more information to give out there instead of how many people we have or what businesses we want to come here. We got to sell Douglas completely. We just can't talk about the usual thing. So I thank Ms. Jordan and I thank you, Aliyah, for creating this pilot program.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I have one as far as liability insurance go, as far as covering Ms. Jordan. How would that work, or?
So Ms. Jordan will be, Councilman Mayor Pro Tem. Ms. Jordan is going to be facilitating the tour, but as a city employee, I'm going to be driving whatever vehicle we end up using, so I'm covered basically. So that's where the partnership falls.
And so she would be treated as any other person at a city gathering for any type of incident that would take place.
Yes.
That makes sense? Okay. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything? Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Appreciate it. Item number 9, discussion decision and consideration of the citizen's petition regarding the hiring or contractual services of a law firm for the amount to exceed $5,000 in cost. May I please have a motion from the council regarding this item?
Mr. Mayor, the background information will be provided by Mr. Flores.
Before or after?
Before.
Thank you. I would love to have it before.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Buick, members of council. Mr. Jose Duarte submitted a petition at last council meeting regarding some ideas that he had regarding the charter, which apparently he felt that the charter had not been followed. At the last council meeting, I made a statement that I felt that the hiring process for that independent law firm to do the Title VII investigation had been conducted appropriately. Since that time, in conjunction with our finance director, we did some further research, and we remain confident that the hiring process that was used to select that particular law firm complies with state procurement as well as our charter, because nowadays state procurement law pretty much controls that particular sector. So obviously if Mr. Duarte continues to feel otherwise, he has other avenues and other recourse that he can explore, but for right now, that's the position that staff is taking. And I'm here to answer any additional questions or concerns that you may have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. I understand before the council can discuss it, I need a motion on the floor. Does anybody have a motion they'd like to offer?
The agenda item does suggest action, and typically when there's an agenda item, council needs to take some particular action, whatever that might be.
Well, if nobody, I'd like to offer a motion then. I move that we instruct staff to provide a written response to all the inquiries in this petition, because in my reading of the petition, there was at least one other question that was in there that I think it would be wise if we're able to show not only Mr. Duarte, but those that signed the petition and also the public, the references as to conclusions on why we feel that the law was not violated. That's a long motion, isn't it? Basically, I would like the motion to be that I move that city staff provide a written response to the petition that was received via Mr. Jose Duarte.
I would second that.
Second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion?
Mayor Pro Tem, I'll be honest on this. I liked the explanation more that was given when it comes to this, instead of saying that he's incorrect about the way he interpreted the last meeting. I think we need to have more transparency. We need to be more clear with the public. I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much animosity towards council and City Hall in general. So I encourage staff that when we're at something, we give a clear and concise answer as to why, instead of yes or no. I mean, because they want more information, some information that we have that we can share with them.
Thank you. Any other
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Councilmember, please.
It's my understanding that professional services are exempted from procurement law. And that's why we have this, professional services.
I appreciate that. The reason I am asking for a clarification, a site of which ARS statute we're referring to when we make that statement, those kind of things. He also asked about some conflict of interest concerns, if I'm reading the petition correctly. And so I think those, if we would respond, as Councilmember Grijalva said, in a clear, concise manner, citing references and things like that, I think would go a long way with being able to express to the community why we're saying what we're saying. And I think it's only fair that we offer that to any citizen that would come by. And that's the reason why I made that motion. Any other comments?
No, I just have to review it. So Mr. Rogers is entitled to have a clear clarification on that. Mr. Mayor, for temporary, there's no further discussion. I just have a few request forms.
Please. Mr. Jose Duarte would like to speak on this agenda.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, Attorney Flores, and everybody present. City of Douglas has the availability to allow us as citizens to see this transparency, and I like your statement, Councilman Grijalva, about being more transparent. But I want to share some information I found here that the City of Douglas has in place a matrix and a quick reference purchasing procedure that all city employees, to include our city attorney, should follow. This guide was last known procedure provided to the employees, to the finance department, that I could find. And under those general guidelines, Section 3, it states, if the estimated price of goods or services is between two thresholds, always apply the requirement of the highest or the next level. Example is anywhere between $4,500 to $5,500, use the amount of $5,000 to almost to $50,000 threshold. The matrix also states that the purchase between the 1 cent to $500 does not require a verbal, written, or any sealed bid. But any purchases over $5,000 do require a written quote or purchase order. Question once again was, is the city rules in place, because I cannot find any updates that say that a written quote is not required, and that if one employee is subject to these guidelines, shouldn't all the other employees, to include our attorney, be required to do the same? I request guidance where it defines that contractual services, professional services, and other services are different. And under state law, ARS 41-2503 definitions, it says services means the furnishing of labor, time or effort by a contractor or subcontractor that does not involve any specific or product other than the required reports or performances, and does not include any employment agreement, collective bargaining, or other agreements. So when it comes down to the definition of services, the state does not say professional services and contractual services are really different, it just says services. So I want to ask Mayor and Council, please define that for me. Our city attorney, I'm not an attorney, I'm just reading what the law says and following up on it under ARS Title 41. And as a constituent, I ask for that transparency. Thank you for that information again. And I think we do really need to address this, because the city does provide those matrix. I do have a copy of it if anybody needs it, that says a bid should have been done, or 3 bids should have been done for anything over $5,000. Thank you very much.
It's also good to see that you're holding up well, Mr. Duarte.
Thank you, sir.
For your treatments.
Thank you.
Any question on the motion? Would you like to read it or this? Okay, roll call, please.
Ward 1? Yes. Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 10, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1326. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, to participate in the Census 2020 Complete Count Committee and to encourage every person to be counted. Ms. Gonzalez will make the presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, Mayor, members of the council, city staff, and members of the public. As you all may be aware, the U.S. Census Bureau turns a count of every person living in the United States every 10 years. And the result of this count, population count, pretty much dictates how much funding cities, counties, councils receive. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Emily Verdugo. She is a partnership specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau, and she will do a presentation.
Welcome, Ms. Verdugo.
Mayor Pro Tem and council members, city manager, and community of Douglas. I am Emily Verdugo, and I'm the partnership specialist for the U.S. Census Bureau here in Southern Arizona. We have been working extremely hard to ensure that we have partnerships with all the governments in Southern Arizona. So I am extremely happy actually to be here with you. Do we have access to? Yes. Okay.
Are we using our new system? No, not quite yet.
No.
By the way, Mrs. Robles, you can hear me, right, in the back?
Yes, I can.
Is it better so far?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Ready to the mic.
We have some other improvements that will be coming online in the next couple of
I have it here,
weeks
and I
and
don't
months.
need it. Can you believe it? Great.
Okay. As this fires up, we'll get to the PowerPoint.
I think it will be your next meeting. There was a last minute glitch today. It was supposed to be in place.
Wonderful. We're gonna have a screensaver of like Mr. Shorty Figueres up there and things like that. I'm trying to get people not to come. So in the meantime, Mr. Verdugo, where are you located at?
So I am based out of Tucson.
Okay.
I am born and raised in Southern Arizona. I was born in Naho. My dad had worked for those copper mines. I ended up living for a while in Silver City. Then we moved up to the Copper Corridor. And then I ended up in Coolidge for a short time, and I served on the city council there. I ran for state legislature. This is home. So, you know, small rural communities are my thing.
Yes.
So, okay, so we're just going to go do a quick overview of the U.S. Census for 2020. Where do I go? So the first thing we're going to talk about is just the overview of the census, why we do it, the importance of the census, a timeline of the activities, the outreach model that the U.S. Census Bureau does to ensure that everyone is counted, and then what you will need locally. Okay, so why do we do a census? We do a census because it's mandated by the Constitution. I mean, that is Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 3 says that we will do it every 10 years. Obviously, apportionment, we all know how important dividing the population up for whether it's council seats or members of Congress. We need to know exactly what our population is to divide that, to divide those seats. Arizona obviously stands to gain another congressional seat this time around, so we want to make sure that everyone who lives here is counted. Then, of course, in your packet, I'm sorry, I did give you a packet, it does have a lot of these handouts. Accounting for dollars. We know that 17 of the top federally funded programs are used for the most necessary populations, right? So we have things like WIC and SNAP, and Title I for schools, and the school lunch program. We even, one of the top 17 programs is also infrastructure. So we need these dollars for our city. Oh, really quickly, Arizona receives $13 billion per year, and every person is allocated about $1,979. So if a person, a family of 5, does not get counted, that's $2,000 per person, which makes it what, $10,000 per family over the next 10 years, right? So if that family had 3 children and weren't counted, that's money that's not going to the school. Okay, so key collection dates of the census for 2020. Our regional census offices are opening in June. Douglas will be part of the Tucson office, which is 3109. We will start address canvassing, which is checking addresses with our master list and the list that the county and the cities have provided through the LUCA. So we will be doing an address canvassing then, and that will be in the fall of 2019. Group quarters, which is RV parks and jails and prisons, as well as the homeless, will start in early 2020. For the 2020 census, we will start going live on March 23rd, which is a whole week before Census Day. Now, what is different about the 2020 census is that our preferred method of response is online. So going throughout Southern Arizona to the rural communities, they have all presented challenges that they feel that their community might not participate because it is online. So obviously Census Day is April 1. Non-response follow-up. That's when people start knocking on doors if you have not responded to the census. That starts in mid-May of 2020. By August 2020, the data collection is complete, and by December 31st, we will be delivering all the numbers to the president. So the outreach model that the Census Bureau is using is called the Complete Count Committee. Cochise County, many of the municipalities in Cochise County have decided to form a county-wide regional Complete Count Committee in collaboration with Cochise County. A lot of how it's structured is the supervisors are the chairs of the committee, and each community has their own subcommittee. And so like if you were to join the Cochise County Complete Count Committee, you would have a Douglas subcommittee, and you would do everything and get those trusted voices of your community that help you ensure that everyone in Douglas is counted. So the structure of the Complete Count Committee, so obviously is headed by the supervisors, and in this case for Cochise County. Now, if the city of Douglas chose to do their own Complete Count Committee, then it would be headed by the mayor, or he could appoint someone. So what we are doing in these Complete Count Committees is we are gathering trusted voices of the community to target hard-to-count populations. The hard-to-count populations, as identified by the Census Bureau, are non-English speakers, undocumented residents, low-income families, seniors, and 0 to 5 population. Okay. So what we're doing, what the Complete Count Committee does, is pretty much influence the community to participate. Right? It's convincing them that the census is safe, and that we will address any barriers anybody in your community might have. So if a person didn't have a computer, we would try to get them somewhere so they can have access to a computer to fill out their form. Okay? So a Complete Count Committee usually has people, the superintendents of schools, they have the chambers of commerce, the community food bank, sometimes ATS and the utilities have joined. If the college has someone that would be influential, sometimes the churches. So as of right now, Cochise County and all their subcommittees, they do have partners like Cochise College and the Economic Development Council. I don't remember what the acronym is. So they do have a fairly wide representation. We're just missing Douglas. So how we figure who and where we need to target in our communities, we base it off data. And we use what the Census Bureau calls the Response Outreach Area Mapper, the ROAM. And so I just wanted, I don't know if this has it doesn't? Okay. So I'll just talk loudly. So here we have Cochise County. And if you notice on the legend, the higher the blue or the darker the blue, the harder to count populations live there. So this is entire Cochise County, and the hardest to count is down in this area. Okay? So this is now the 3 census tracts that make up Douglas. We know that this area right here is very hard to count, and so is this one. Does that make sense? Do you see how maybe the populations of those census tracts might be hard to count? Okay. So we have a few tools that we use. We use our community outreach toolkit that the Census Bureau will provide you with all your messaging if you want, or you can come up with your own. We also have a program called Statistics in Schools, which is a program that teachers could use during their bell work time, or if they need the children to be doing something while they're working. It's activities, teaching about census and statistics. It goes from K to 12, and it's in a variety of subjects. The other thing we ask of our partners is to help promote jobs. So right now, we, on USA Jobs, we are actually looking for a partnership specialist, one who speaks Spanish, and is from Cochise Grammar Greenleaf. Right? This job is a full-time job until August 2020, pays $50,000 to $90,000 a year, depending on experience, plus benefits. Right? But then we also have all those operations where people need to go knock on doors, and what the U.S. Census Bureau really wants is to hire local. Who knows Douglas better than folks from Douglas? Right? They know the community, they know the streets, they know the language, they know the families. So we ask our partners to really help us promote jobs. Not only, I mean, even if there's a teacher, or even one of you, if you just wanted a part-time job, those jobs are very flexible. You pick your hours, and they pay up to $18, between $18 and $22. So next steps, right? So we've established a CCC for Cochise County. Now I'm before you to ask you if you want to join that CCC or if you want to form your own. Our office will open up in Tucson in June. August, October is our addressing, canvassing, like I told you earlier. And then we will start recruiting for operations, for like the May with the door knocking. And then in 2020, our advertising campaign starts. CCC supports the census effort, so all the activities and events that you plan to have here in Douglas will be supporting, encouraging people to participate. And then April 1st is Census Day. So you can help. You all are the experts on Douglas. So I am here. I am your partnership specialist. I will be covering Cochise County and Douglas. So I will take any questions.
How many employees do you anticipate hiring in the local area?
They haven't broken it down by local areas. We do know that in Southern Arizona, we hope to hire 1,000 people. So, I mean, a lot of people that might be assigned to Douglas would also probably do Cochise County, like the unincorporated area.
What's the percentage of census forms are not filled out? Any idea, like when you have to go knocking door to door?
Yeah, so, I'm sorry, Honorable Mayor, Councilmember Morales. So, that map that you saw is a predictor on how many people aren't going to respond. So in those two census tracts that were deeply blue, about 30% will not respond. So we want to make sure that we get that percentage lower. Now, during the time of census, you will have access to a similar map that tells you how many people have already responded. So we will be able to track which census tracts are not responding like we need to.
Mr. Mayor, you can request a motion to be placed on the floor before you further discussion continues.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. Please stay close so that ask any questions. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem.
Yes, Councilwoman Morales.
I move that Mayor and Council approve Resolution 19-1326.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Morales, second by Councilmember Soto. Discussion. Oh, mercy. One bad mark. One mark on the board. I have a question. Was it discussed among staff doing our own, participating with the county, doing both? Has there been that discussion yet?
Yes, Vice Mayor, there has been, and we've asked if Dina Gonzalez would be our point person. She has now been attending the Cochise area census committee, and also will be working hand in glove with Emily and others to make sure we get the online and people that need door to door. So we'll be monitoring that closely, because not only is that representation of money coming back to our communities there, but at the state level, we have 2 different statewide formulas that bring dollars back to our community based on population. So this is really critical for us, for our revenue stream, that we do get as complete a count as possible.
If we decide at some point in time before all this really starts going. If we wanted our own committee, we could still participate in the county and still do our own, if we think it's needed.
Honorable Mayor, yes, you can. However, we always encourage cities to start early, just to ensure that you have a good work plan to go off. Like any city plan, you want to start early to make sure everything's ready. So you're getting all the events that you want to be at, that you're targeting the right populations, that maybe internally the activities that you want to do in the city of Douglas are all in line with your department. Example, maybe you want to put up a web page that talks about what you're doing for the census, and you want to make sure that you send out flyers in your water bill, that you know exactly when all this is going to take place.
Okay. So it brings me to the question of advantages of doing our own versus participating in the county.
Mayor Pro Tem, can I add 3 questions so she doesn't have to go? Can you also explain the cost if the city does it by itself compared to if we partner with them?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, staff, interim city manager and I went back and forth on this, and because the census in previous years had stimulus money to provide cities to publish materials to get the word out, they don't have that this year, so they're asking cities to contribute. And we figured that doing our participation with the regional Cochise County, we're all going to put our resources together and distribute the information county-wide as opposed to just locally. I have been talking to members of the staff. I would also like to invite any of you to participate in our subcommittee. Each city that is participating in this is establishing their own subcommittee. The mayor of Wilcox is involved. We have county administrators involved. We have people from the clinic involved in these subcommittees, and from the school districts, especially the rural school districts. So yeah, the more help we can get to the subcommittee, the better. But we've decided that going regional is our best option, just because the money isn't there.
Can I add something, Mayor?
Yes, please.
I just want to add that I would definitely recommend the city of Douglas to participate in the county complete count committee. However, I would strongly recommend that the city of Douglas have a strong message separate from the county, because you all are very unique compared to the rest of the county. I mean, there's no doubt, right? And so they will have a different message because their map isn't as blue as yours, and they aren't as Spanish speaking as you all. And so I just feel that when you all decide to make sure that you come up with a strong message for your community to encourage them to participate.
That's an excellent suggestion. Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Thank you so very much for coming down to meet with us and explain it. I can't emphasize enough the importance of the census. It's critical in so many areas, and it's not just that we're money hungry, it also allows people to be able to participate in needed services that will allow them to be counted so we have the money so that they can have those services in our community. And also in economic development, if we can show certain factors of our population, the positive numbers, to be able to show that we have a viable community here, it helps with economic development. So it's critical in all areas. Okay, roll call please.
Ward 1? Yes. Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 11, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1327. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, Legacy Foundation grant. Authorizing the acceptance of a grant funding in the amount of $2,500 from the Legacy Foundation of Southeast Arizona for Douglas Fire Department staff education. Chief Omeli, please.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. The Douglas Fire Department received a grant in the amount of $2,500 to begin the process for education in critical incident stress debriefing and management for staff. And myself and Chief Bowen will be working together to ensure that not only fire staff gets this education, but we share with police to ensure that somebody is readily available in time of need for anybody from police, fire, city staff, and community.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Councilmember.
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1327.
Second.
Second. Thank you very much. Any discussion?
Mayor Pro Tem, I just want to...
Please.
The Legacy Foundation has helped the city of Douglas in a lot of different ways. I think Parks and Rec also get grants from them. So if you see the representatives, I believe Alex from the Blueberry Cafe is one of the representatives. Give them a big thank you, because we wouldn't be in the position we are getting these opportunities if they didn't exist, if they didn't care for our community.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Chief, for all your hard work on that, and also Chief Bowen for making this happen. Stretching it as far as we can stretch it. Roll call, please.
Ward 1? Yes. Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Temper?
Yes. Motion carries and passes. Item number 12, discussing decision on approval of resolution number 19-1328, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement between the city of Douglas, Arizona and the Water Infrastructure Authority of Arizona, WIPA, evidencing a loan from said authority to the city in the amount not to exceed $1,500,000 for automated meter infrastructure, authorizing and directing the city manager to execute and deliver all documents relating to the loan, and pledging water system revenue fees for payment of the loan. Mr. Pedrosa.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. I'm happy to bring this item forward. As you know, our AMI project is underway. We have been working with the financing since last year. December, we requested your permission to request financing from WIPA. After obtaining that, we took it to the WIPA board. They approved it unanimously on February 20th to approve our loan, and happily that they are giving us $750,000 of that $1.5 million as forgivable principal. So we won't need to repay back half of that loan. Essentially, we're getting the project half paid for by other people's money. The loan terms is a 50-year loans that can be paid early if we decide to at year 10, 4% interest, and as I mentioned, the meter project is currently underway. We have about 800 meters so far installed. We are waiting for your approval of this financing, and basically get our reimbursement back for the money that we've already paid for.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1328.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lemon, for the second. Any discussion? Mr. Pedrosa, would you please briefly remind the public of what you use an acronym for the water meters? Would you please just briefly explain that again to the public?
Certainly, Mayor Pro Tem. The AMI project stands for Automated Meter Infrastructure. The idea is to install meters that provide automatic meter reads every hour through a radio signal, and that radio signal is collected by repeaters strategically located throughout the city. That signal is then submitted into our systems, and we are able to retrieve that information on an online platform. Basically, we're going to get more accurate readings without having to send our water techs to perform these readings. Currently, we perform readings once a month to do our billing. As I mentioned, now we will have the information every hour. We will be able to detect the leaks If household is having them, our system is programmed in a way that it will alert us whenever there's leaks. We will also be alerted whenever there's illegal water consumption. And on top of that, we will also just get more efficient out there as far as not having to perform the monthly ritual of having our water techs go out there and read the meters manually.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may offer for more transparency too to the public, because this will be a more efficient system, some residents will see their water bill go up, and initially you might get calls. We'll try to also educate them in their water bills as they get new water bills. Louisa said we have a little bit of room that we can put messages on the water bills, so we can let people know that they might see a difference. And so that's probably what it is with the new technology. It's going to be a more efficient reading of that bill.
And it could work the other way also.
Yes, it could,
A
absolutely.
bit more accuracy. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ward 1? Yes. Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, motion passes. Sounds like we better hurry that wind. Got to my colleagues down at the end there. Item number 13, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1329. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the entry into a contract with CDM Smith for construction management services for the Bay Acres and surrounding community sanitary sewer project just outside the city of Douglas city limits. Mr. Pedrosa.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. As previously mentioned, in relation to the Bay Acres sewer project, where the city received $6.8 million from USDA to construct an sanitary sewer in the Bay Acres community. The contract before you is to basically award the CDM Smith contract, or the award to CDM Smith the contract for construction management services to manage that project for us, which includes the bid phase process and construction management. In doing so, why we're choosing to award CDM Smith, they were the original engineer for the design of the project and the design of the sanitary sewer there. The federal clauses, we were able to award to them the federal process since they were the engineer on record, and as well as their performance has been satisfactory so far. So again, before you, we ask that you approve this contract. And also I'd like to add that, again, the construction inspector position that you just approved will be under the supervision of CDM Smith. They will be directing that position, although it will be on our payroll. It is, according to this contract, that they provide direction to that employee.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem.
Yes, Councilman Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1329.
Second. Second. Mr. Soto, thank you very much. Any discussion?
I have a question on the
Yes, Councilman Grijalva.
on the agenda item here in the back. It says that USDA requires that we have all or most residents of Bay Acres sign the contract and easement or agreement. What happens to those that don't sign it?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Grijalva, for bringing that up, and I'd like to update the council on that. As of today, we have about 91% of residents signed up for sewer. Those that do not sign up do not get hooked up. We do need their permission to construct on their property. If we do not get that permission, they will not get hooked up to sewer. However, we have been telling citizens through written correspondence, through verbal communication, that if they choose not to connect now, which is going to be free of charge to those residents, they will be forced to hook up at a later time. We cannot say when, but due to the county will no longer certify those septic tanks, and they will be forced to connect to the nearest sewer line. Therefore, they will have to incur impact fees and connection costs. So we are advising those citizens that either refuse to sign or we are not able to get a hold of those property owners. We are putting letters in writing advising them of what could happen if they choose not to sign up for the free service connection. So I would also like to add that the free service connection is basically you're not paying to be connected, but there will be the monthly fee that all residents, and they will be paying a monthly fee for sewer service. Residents will be paying $32.01 a month for the sewer service.
And the approximate fees for connection fees, if they choose to connect in 2 months?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, $2,100 for the sewer impact fee, on top of the connection costs, which a certified plumber would need to do, and that would vary based on the location of your home to the service tap.
Mayor Pro Tem, add on to your statement. When you send those letters, I think it'd be important to put that in there, because a lot of the times people might say, "No, I'll take care of it later." Then they see the cost, then they're put in a horrible situation. And I think that the responsibility falls on the city, on us, to inform them of waiting later on and what kind of fees they might incur.
Yes, Mr. Grijalvo, we've included that in our correspondence.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I do have a
Yes,
question.
please.
This amount quoted by CDM Smith, is it with the assumption that all of the residents are going to be signing in green, or does it really matter? Like, let's say you have 91%, but is that still the full amount we're going to pay, even though the 100% of the population is not signing?
Councilmember Soto, yes, this is just, they will be managing the project. USDA would not let us move forward if we didn't have the majority of the residents sign up. We wouldn't have a project basically. But we definitely have a project with 91% of the residents sign up. We can move forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burke?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 14, decision on approval of resolution number 19-1330, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, clarifying rules for implementation of Article 2, Section 19, consideration of petitions of the city charter of the city of Douglas. Mr. Flores?
Thank you, Councilman Buick, also Mayor Pro Tem Buick, and members of council. Basically, at the request of administration, we came up with a type of protocol and some guidelines for defining what a petition is. There weren't too many models around the state. We did find that City of Flagstaff had a numbers requirement, in other words, how many signatures were required for a petition. We didn't really want to set parameters for you. Flagstaff had 25 signatures. We came up with a number of 20. Council may like that number, may want to modify it, or may not like it altogether. But in any event, it provides some type of protocol for the handling of a citizen petition that will be submitted according to the charter provision. And I believe it's a pretty decent working model, and council may want to consider it.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. May I have a motion, please?
Mayor?
Yes.
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1330.
Second.
Second by Councilman Grijalva. Any discussion?
Mayor Pro Tem, please, you know, we saw just the census and, you know, how it had those dark spaces about people that don't want to participate. I think 20 signatures is way too much. You know, if somebody has a petitioning that, you know, to bring up to us, it's something that's important to them. So I think, you know, and we don't get them often. So I disagree with 20. I disagree with 5. If one person has a complaint that, you know, they can't get enough people behind them, maybe bringing it in a public setting, especially now that we're streamed, it could get more people to know about what's happening, to know about their cause. So I mean, I think 20 is way too big of a number for me personally.
Do you have a suggestion of a number that you'd be comfortable with, Mr. Howard? One. Okay, any other questions or comments?
No, I would have to say one also. I mean, if they want to come and speak, they have that right. One.
Any other questions, comments?
Do we need to make an amendment?
Let's get all the discussion together if we could, and then if an amendment would like to be offered, then we can offer it at that time.
Mayor, if I may ask, so right now it's at 1, right? Is that what it's at? The petition?
There really isn't a number, but one would qualify.
I have a question, which hopefully won't turn into a concern, regarding the 3 minutes to speak. I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, in our normal call to the public, we have the option of expanding the 3 minutes if we want to, and I wouldn't want this to limit it if we have the opportunity in other areas, if we feel that we need more information from the petitioner to be able to expand it. So I don't know if additional language needs to be in there, is it understood? But I just wouldn't want to limit us in case we wanted more information from the citizen.
I believe that I did make the provision in the resolution that we would be following the rules of conduct, which would make that modifiable if council so wants to give more time to the speaker.
So that would be allowed, it wouldn't necessarily be specified.
That's correct.
Everybody heard that? Okay. Any other suggestions or questions that we can offer staff?
Like Mayor, if I could add,
Please.
also when it's on the agenda, you're free to talk as long as you want, and it does talk about that and the information that's provided too. So that also gives an extra measure of public comment as well when it's on an agenda.
Thank you.
Additionally, yes, I noted section 2, it says there is no limit on the number of petitions the citizens will submit. However, subject to the rules of conduct, each citizen will be limited to 3 minutes, which would mean council can expand that to speak for as long as they want.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to make an amendment.
I have a suggestion, Mayor Pro Tem.
Please. Hold on. Just go on that.
If the consensus is either 1, the consensus is to keep it at 1, simply just vote no on this resolution, and that will take care of it without an amendment. If somebody wants a different number than the number 1, then I would suggest you do make an amendment.
And so, in voting no, if I understand it, we'll just stay as we are. Anybody who wants to submit a petition can. Absolutely. You would follow the protocols outlined in the charter.
You would basically go back to square 1.
Okay. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, I just want to make a quick comment. I've been in this position years ago where people would come and claim that they had a petition and then would make a big thing out of it and hand in a bunch of blank papers. And that essentially just takes up the time of the council. And of course, I don't want to approve of that. You know, it takes up city time and administrative time, things like that. And notwithstanding people that have real causes, that's fine. And that's something that is a democratic process. But I have been here before when that has happened. And then now we're stuck. So I don't know what the remedy would be, but that has happened.
My understanding, please correct me somewhere if I'm wrong, a petition has the inherent connotation that it's written. And so I would assume that something that needs to be in writing that would need to be presented. If they spoke on it, they would turn a piece of paper in with their concerns on it. And to me, that's what a petition means. And I understand the shenanigans that would like to happen, but at the same point, I think petition is a written document. But I don't know if that would need clarification anywhere or not.
I don't disagree with you, Mayor Pro Tem. I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, if somebody submits a petition that's not serious or doesn't contain the significant amount of information that council would consider adequate, then at the meeting you can decide to take no action. But as in the case of the petition that was submitted this evening or last council meeting, one signature was sufficient to get it on the agenda and get council actions.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Thank you. Okay, roll call.
Ward 1? No. Ward 2?
No.
Ward 5?
No.
Ward 6?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem?
No. The motion fails. Item number 15, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1331. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, to initiate an economic development pilot program geared toward connecting residents and visitors to local shopping, dining, and hospitality amenities in the city of Douglas. Ms. Montoya, please.
Thank you again, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Last month, you may recall, I mentioned we are going to start working on newer ways to develop marketing and tourism. One of the ways we're doing that is updating the city's brochure. So the brochure is a super important marketing piece and it's in serious need of an update. I apologize for not having a scanned copy up on the projector, but for those of you who don't know, this is the current brochure. It's a traditional 3-panel. And we're actually updating the new models and upgrades to something similar to this 11 by 17 default panel brochure. So in this model, we are connecting visitors and residents to prime destinations in Douglas to shop, dine, explore, and stay overnight, as we're calling it. So this will include a very detailed map that will specify each location, will have pictures, contact information. It's going to be a very competitive brochure. And it'll be up there with a lot of other brochures that are being done around the county. So we are kicking this off. It's another pilot program. We're going to charge a small advertising fee, something around $25 to businesses that would like to participate in the brochure. And this is just a way that we can make sure that those who really want to be in the brochure are in there. Those who believe in the power of marketing and want to see tourists in their destinations. This fee will help offset printing costs, of course, and for the businesses that don't fall in the categories of shop, dine, explore, stay, we'll have room for display advertising. So that might be a good sponsorship opportunity for like realty offices or local gyms. This brochure will be distributed at the visitor center in various locations and businesses around town, City Hall, of course, and numerous visitor centers around the county and the state. So I've spoken with several business owners so far, and from what I've heard, they are on board with it. They are willing to pay the fee, but depending on how it goes, we'll see if that fee needs to be adjusted, and we'll determine any other things that need to be set in place. And when the time comes, we'll see how it goes, and we will. I'll come back and present that brochure to you, and so we can adopt that fee officially into the city's code.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilman Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1331.
Second. Thank you, Councilman Alonso, for the second. Councilman Morales. Any questions or discussion?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, please.
I'm glad that Ms. Montoya is taking on this. I've long felt that we needed to have some kind of a brochure or some kind of a thing all together. You've got to point out all of our points of interest. You've got to point out, in a nice map. In fact, when I took my youngest daughter to Flagstaff NAU, they have a really cool map that's kind of characterized and colored, and it lists every business around there. You can, one glance, you know where you're going, streets, I mean, it's the whole thing. I can bring it to you and show you. But it is really cool, and I'm glad we're moving forward with this.
Thank you, Councilman Lindemann. Any other questions? Yes, Councilman Grijalva, please.
I just wanted to mention, in an effort with this, maybe we can also get, some signs when they come into town where these districts are at, because I hope she doesn't mind me saying, but the first thing our interim city manager said when she came into town is, I don't know where City Hall was. So maybe if we could tell them where the visitor center is, where City Hall is, where the parks are, I mean, that could help too with this effort, because if they don't know where the visitor center is, where are they going to stop to get the brochure? If they don't know where City Hall is, we're going to stop to get the brochure. So maybe that can help us out also to help people to come in where these places are that they're looking for.
Council members Grijalva and Lindemann, that's right. The map, actually, I know Rene Rios is working on making that map, not only for the brochure, but places that we can put around town and on our website for that very reason. So the credit is to him and Joel Camacho and IT. They've been working on this even before I got here. Very good.
Thank you. Mrs. Robles will show everybody where City Hall is. You just let her know. She'll be happy to show them right where we're at. I have a question. You mentioned participation. Could you define that a little bit more, explain that?
Sure. So in those 4 categories, if a business wanted to participate, it's basically they pay the fee, and then we will get their business name. For example, La Fiesta Cafe located, their address, their phone number, a small description, and every like 6 months or so we would update and see if anyone else wants to take part or if we need to take someone off if business closes.
Mrs. Federer, I hate to put you on the spot, but any thoughts on where we're at?
We've been working closely with this, and this is exactly what we've been asking for. So, this is right on target.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr.
Yes, please.
Quick question, folks. And I know we're getting ahead of the game, but the question is there a thought of how often is this brochure going to be updated? Like, let's say you have this participation of vendors, and then next year I want to jump in, or is there going to be an opportunity, or?
Yes. Councilmember Soto, good question. Because we want to make sure it's always up to date. We don't want to have a business on there that's closed. We also want to include other people. They say, hey, I didn't participate the first time. I want to be in there now. We are going to print smaller amounts, and we are going to update it. For right now, we're thinking every 6 months, but that's something we'll determine during the pilot period of how often we need to do it. But
perfect. Thank you. Anything else? Roll call, please.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore?
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 17, those who remember item 16, we moved up to the front of the meeting. Item number 17, discussion decision on approval of third reading of ordinance number 19-1102, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a semi-improved parcel of land described as the easterly 150 feet of parcel 409-17-049A to Southwest Gas Corporation and located adjacent to their local facility pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Pedrosa, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. Third reading here of the sale of improved land, parking lot, next to Southwest Gas, currently serving the ACT call center. The Southwest Gas approached us as they are looking to expand their facility for more room for their trucks, for expanding their facility. They were looking at just adding to the current space that they have. They saw that the parking that does not get utilized all the time. We verified that the parking lot is not an obligation with the ACT lease that they have with the city. It's not contained within that. There were no restrictions. Therefore, we saw it as an opportunity to utilize city property for some economic development. And the proposed price is $88,200. And we recommend approval of the third reading.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Councilmember Lindemann.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. I move that the mayor and council approve the third reading of ordinance number 19-1102 by number and title only.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. I was trying to save your voice.
That's okay. Better not drink more.
Okay. Motion by Councilmember Lindemann, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, Councilmember Lindemann, please.
Not really a question, but a comment. I presume that Southwest Gas is going to move their block wall to encompass this new van so they can have more security.
Councilmember Lindemann, yes, that's correct. It will be there will be some construction when they enclose that wall so that they have that protection for their facility. So we've already advised and talked to ACT that they may encounter that type of construction during this time.
Is there any timetable? I suppose that's hard to judge at this point.
Not at the moment. I know that they were very anxious to go through with the sale. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a phone call tomorrow to see if the meeting went through. But we have advised them of the 30 days that we will execute all the paperwork 30 days after tonight's reading if it gets approved. So after that, we'll ask for a timetable and see how fast it goes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore?
Yes, motion carries.
In ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a semi-improved parcel of land described as the easterly 150 feet of parcel 409-17-0498 to Southwest Gas Corporation and located adjacent to the local facility, pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you, Mrs. Aguilar. Item number 18, informational items and reports from council on future agenda item requests. Mrs. Watson.
Mayor Pro Tem, I had item number 14. I had a call that I wanted to talk. I wasn't involved. Can I just say in 10 seconds if I can on that one?
My apologies. Was that?
I waited for the other one. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say something simple and thank you for taking.
Hold on.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tempore, that was for the resolution that failed, and so that would be your call if you'd like to.
Please, Mr. Duarte.
Sorry about that. It's just so long. I'll make it short. I just want to say thank you to Mayor Council for that information that failed in that item number and looking further into it. It should be the democratic process of allowing one person to speak up when they believe in it. That's what I was going to say. And I want to thank you guys. You guys have shown a lot of knowledge today, a lot of differences based on other things, being transparent, and thank you very much. That's all I want to thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, item number 18, informational items and reports from council on future agenda item requests. Mrs. Watson, can you walk us through this, please?
You bet. Vice Mayor and Council, other cities in our state do this regularly because it's another way that you can communicate to the public. It's for future agenda items requests too. If there's an item, you don't discuss it, but if someone wants to bring it up, and usually the mayor or Vice Mayor Pro Tem will say and look around and just say there is a consensus, let's move forward towards this to give direction on a future item. Also, if you have a quick announcement from your ward, this is a great time to remind people if there's an event going to be happening during the week or whatever. Typically, every council member just spends a couple minutes at the most. It's a very quick thing, but it's also one more way to talk to the public about general information of the city.
Thank you. Would anybody like to participate in that?
At this, during this section, I'm glad that we put this back in. When anyone is going on a travel on city expense, they should come back and make a quick report of what they've done and what the benefit that they presume it would be to the city taxpayers.
Thank you. Let me start over here if I could. Ms. Morales, do you have anything you'd like to?
I just wanted to say that I want to thank Ms. Watson for having us start this through the keyhole in the newspaper. I did announce that I do want to do a town hall for my ward, and I invite not just the citizens or the constituents in my ward to participate, but if anybody has any concerns that they'd like to address, that I do want to email me here at the city or contact me via my cell phone number, which was listed in the newspaper. That was all. Thank you.
Thank you. It reached a lot of people. Thank you. Ms. Lindemann, would you like to add anything?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Soto.
No, thank you.
Thank you, dare I say, Mr. Grava.
Well, I just want to thank the dispatch because Ms. Watson told me write a few words about your ward, so I wrote a whole essay about it, so I want to thank both of you for giving me that opportunity. But I wanted to bring up an idea that one of our constituents, I'm going to butcher his name, Raymond Candle, he owns the Cochise Pond. There's a free plug for messing up his name. He brought up a very good point where when the soldiers come and stay and work in the city of Douglas, we should be more welcoming. We should be in contact with them more. See how we can, at least offer. He came up with the idea of offering the shuttle service for them if they need to get into town, need to get to wash clothes, helping them out in any way that we can. I would like to, bring up that idea and, give them goodies, give them, plug Douglas, because once they leave here, they go back home. And if they go back home remembering and having a piece of Douglas, they might come back. So that I want to thank him for that idea and, maybe something to think about later on.
Thank you, Mr. Grava. I'd like to give a shout out to this young pastor that's sitting back right there who did reach out to these people. I understand, I heard, and made his church available to them. And we appreciate fine members of our community like Mr. Morales and his fine churchgoers to be able to reach out and express our love and appreciation for them, and I compliment you for that. Anything else? Item number 19. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Ms. Morales.
I move to adjourn.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Grava. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.